We made it. We made it. We made it to the finale after stress, after confusion, after not knowing what's going to happen next. We made it. Everyone can say what they want about the ending of the finale, but I feel like the finale was the best way to go. It literally ended realistically. Like everything happened how I would imagine it to happen. It shows that everyone's not perfect. I'm still Team Wrigley though, but it shows that everyone's not perfect. It shows that Steven is still the same, Lucy's still the same. Like it was just realistic. Like you would think over time people will grow and stuff, but it's been like, 4 or 5 years, but they're still kind of like, still immature in a way. So everyone ended up being their realistic characters at the end. And I thought it was really funny. So they ended it in such a funny, realistic way. I love it as the ending because it's like, I don't know what people expected. Like Lucy to just be smart. Lucy has never been that. Over all these seasons, I would have never thought Lucy would have learned anything. That's my thoughts on the ending. So we're going to start from the beginning and then I'm going to tell you all my detailed thoughts on the ending. Let's get to it. Okay, so this episode starts in 2015 where Wrigley accidentally goes to the room Bree is in and Bree's stressed. She's smoking. She's not wanting to go through with this wedding. And that's when they talk, and apparently they have not talked since 2009 with the whole Wrigley and Pippa situation, and that has actually irritated the mess out of Wrigley. And Bree's just like, well, you show me exactly who you are. So she did not give a fuck. But fast forward, they end up having sex, and then they hear people coming, and then they stop having sex. And I was just like, oh my gosh, y'all were ready. Y'all were like, did not waste no time. I love that. And it makes sense why Wrigley was blowing up her phone at her wedding day, because it's like, girl, we've been doing this for months. And now you still want to get married to Evan? Like, you have no feelings, just married to Evan for stability again. So just like, it makes sense. I still love Wrigley. Bree ended up, this whole thing just showed me with Bree, like, you are who you surround yourself with, because Bree literally ended up turning like them at the end. Wrigley did too, a little. So it's just like, you are who you surround yourself with. I don't know why they're still friends with each other at this point in time, but it is what it is. So the next scene is Lucy runs into Diana, and Lucy is so relieved and tells Diana, yeah, Steven gave me the tape. And she was like, you must feel so like relieved. And she's like, yeah, I'm actually surprised. And she was like, well, you're going to Yale, right? And Diana starts breaking down. She's like, nah, Steven's going to Yale. I can't go to Yale. That gets Lucy riled up. And when Lucy is riled up, she does not think, like, she just takes action. So she immediately was like, oh, I'm gonna do something about that because that's not right. And that is so funny because Lucy just does that throughout, like, the episode. She sees something's not right and she takes action. She don't even think about how this could impact anyone. She just does it. She's just ready to protect anyone. That's cute of her, but it's really dumb. So she ends up getting dressed to go to Steven's Yale commencement event or things like that, and she is very messy on how she does it. She just approaches a random person. She doesn't even get the right person she needs to talk to. She just grabs a random person and tells them how bad Steven is. Not everyone knows Steven, so it's just like, wrong way to go about it. And Steven sees her and he goes rampant, and he's literally like, what are you doing? Like, leave. Like, you're dumb. And she goes away. So that was something. But while that whole thing is happening with Lucy dropping into Steven's Yale event, Evan comes out the shower and Bree's gone. Bree's not playing around. Bree is stomping around campus to Lucy's dorm, and she's knocking on that joint. She's like, Lucy. Lucy's gone. Lucy's at Steven's event. Lucy's nowhere to be found. And while that's happening, Bree looks at the door. She glances at it for a little bit and then gets a call. And she gets a call from her mom. Why is her mom on campus? Her mom's on campus to ambush her with Oliver, Oliver's wife, and the 17-year-old that Oliver was dating, to make Bree seem like she's crazy. Like, what she was saying and what she was coming up with was a lie, and basically threatening her, like, if you say anything, that she's gonna get her scholarship taken away. And all that stuff that Bree's been saying, that Oliver went on a date with her, he said he loved her, all that stuff. And they just were like, well, there's no proof. There's proof that you sent messages, but he didn't respond. And I was just like, Oliver's wife is weird as fuck. Like, you're weird and you're an enabler. Like, you're like scary. She's the scariest type because you literally dragged this 17-year-old girl into this mess to manipulate the whole situation. And it's sad because that ended up affecting the relationship with Bree and her mom, because her mom, Bree's like, so you believe them and not me? And it's just like, Bree's mom does not really know Bree like that. Like, I would understand if Bree's mom has known her throughout her whole life and stuff like that, then yeah, she'll probably understand. But from her viewpoint, it's like, okay, these people reached out to me, they look like a nice family, and they're saying these things that you're doing. And honestly, it's literally 3 against 1. And I knew it because I told y'all in the last video, I was like, I was so suspicious of Oliver's wife because she was following behind Bree's mom and creeping around during the art gallery stuff. I told y'all, I was just like, why is she doing that? And this is exactly why she was doing that. She was plotting on Bree during her gallery, like a weirdo. And there's no words to describe how weird Oliver and his wife is, because it's just very strange, very mentally weird. And it sucks with this last episode because we really didn't even get more of that. We don't even know what happened. They literally was just they just cut that. That was it. We didn't even know what happened with that situation. I was irritated because I was like, that situation just piled up on Bree's situation, and it's like, so what happened? I felt like we needed more for that. That's not really fair. How you ambush us and Bree and we don't know what happens next? But we know that Bree's not messing with her mom anymore. Really sad because they ruined that relationship that just started. But it is what it is. And I also get it from Bree's point of view because it's you would want your mom to believe you, but in all honesty, Bree's mom does not know her, and Bree does not know her mom. So it's there was no chance that her mom was going to believe her, sadly. So that's that. Okay, then this episode is so packed. There's so much going on. But the next thing that happened is Lucy pops into Bree and Pippa's room, right? And Pippa's there, Bree's still not there. Bree's nowhere to be found. All this stuff is happening to her. She's gone. She's irritated, pissed. I understand her. I would be irritated too, gone somewhere. But Lucy goes into the room. Pippa's there. Pippa's crying, all that stuff. And Lucy is like, oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for Bree. And she still tries to figure out what's wrong with Pippa and stuff like that. And she tries to apologize again to Pippa. I still don't understand why she's apologizing to Pippa, because she literally tried to help her. Anyways, they talk it out a little bit. They become friends for 2 seconds. They become friends for 2 seconds. And Lucy sits down on the bed with her, and Pippa confesses how she was terrible to Wrigley, how she was lying and stuff, manipulating him. The whole time she was cheating on him the whole time. I was like, okay, at least you're telling some truth, Pippa. And she's crying, she's bawling and stuff, she's feeling sad. And Lucy wants to make her feel better. So what in Lucy's fashion, she's like, I'll tell you what, I did, because it's similar to it. And Pippa's like, please do, because what I did was so bad. She's like, just please do, please tell me. And then Lucy tells Pippa about the situation with Bree and Evan, and the way Pippa flips, Pippa's like, oh, you're a terrible person. And Lucy's confused, just like I'm confused. I was like, oh wow, that was quick. I get it, but damn. And she was like, oh no, you're disgusting, you're terrible, you're the scum of the earth. She was going ham with the names. Pippa just forgot what she just did. She just coerced Wrigley. She was cheating on Wrigley the whole time. But Pippa defense is well, he's a guy. I'm just like, okay, what the fuck? And I was just like, the way Pippa turned, I was like, Pippa is such a terrible person. I just did not like her. I was like, wow, she did not deserve the ending that she got. Honestly, I did not like her. I was just like, why did she just flip on Lucy like that and just said, I'm not going to tell Brie because we're done. I don't want to see you ever again. And I'm just like, whoa, all that stuff, all that stuff Lucy did for Pippa, and Pippa cannot show an inch of empathy for Lucy. Just nothing. It's like she just hated Lucy after the Chris situation. Actually, it actually felt like Pippa resented Lucy for that situation. And it's sad because it's just like, that happened to you, and she was your friend trying to be there for you. And the only person who was empathetic that was there also was Diana. But you don't mind being under Diana's coochie. But when it comes to Lucy, you have all this hate. And I get it. Lucy said, oh, well, it happened to me. Because people wasn't believing that Chris was capable of doing that. And it was dumb, but it's just like, dang, you can't be a friend and just, be empathetic. Pippa's such a weird person. Weird person. I see why she didn't have any friends, because the whole thing with her was just weird. She's needy. She's weird. She's not empathetic. She's not understanding, tries to understand from other people's point of view, only hers. And with hers, it's a little too late. So when that happens, Lucy leaves. And I guess Pippa's interaction with Lucy pushed her to actually tell Wrigley the truth. Because I feel like Pippa was just like, well, I don't want to be as bad as Lucy. Let me tell Wrigley. Because it's just like, I feel like Pippa felt like she was better than Lucy at that point. I literally feel like Pippa literally thought she was better than Lucy. So she was like, let me tell my man, well, not my man anymore, but let me tell Wrigley the truth and stuff like that. Obviously, Wrigley did not care. He wanted to breathe. He did not give a fuck what was going on. And she told him, oh, she's gay. But my thing with Pippa is she broke down her truth. She said, I was cheating on you. And then she was like, and I'm gay. So it's just like, she was breaking it into segments. And I was just like, girl, just tell him the whole thing. You were with Diana, you were cheating on Wrigley with a girl. Just say the whole thing. I don't know why she was breaking it into parts and stuff. I think because maybe they're not open yet. I don't know. But I was just like, girl, at this point, why are you separating? Just say everything together. That was weird to me. But the only benefit of this conversation Pippa had with Wrigley is because Pippa was able to keep saying oh, Steven is such a terrible person. He's such a terrible person because the connection with, oh, I'm gay and stuff, she brought up Diana in a separate conversation and was just like, he's a terrible person. I don't know why you're friends with him. And he's like, I mean, he's not that bad. And she's like, not bad. He literally sent Diana's private pictures to her dad. And Wrigley's looking confused and stuff. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, Wrigley. And she's like I told y'all in the last video, people keep saying no one is doing anything to Steven. He keeps getting away with it. And I was telling y'all, someone is going to do something because they keep saying that. Someone's going to keep doing something. And we're going to talk about that because someone did something. My favorite person. And I was so happy. I was so happy about that. I was like, finally, this is what we deserve. This is what we need. But before that, the next scene is Lucy goes to class. Now, mind y'all, I told y'all, we never see them in class. The only time we probably see them in class was probably season 1, when they were studying outside or something. But Lucy finally goes to class. This is literally the first time I've seen Lucy in class. They're always at a party. They were not at a party this episode. They were not at a party. Nothing was funny. No one was in a silly mood to go to a party. They were not at a party this episode. Lucy was in class. First time ever seeing her in class. She was in class, and lo and behold, when she finally gets to class, that motherfucking tape that Steven gave her is being played on a laptop. And she is shook. She gets right up. She sat down in class, got right up. 5 seconds in class. That episode. She got right up and she walked and saw the video playing everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. She sees Steven, her foresight, and she dodges to him. She's like, I thought you said you weren't going to release the tape. And he's like, I didn't. Maybe you thought you deserved to release the tape, but I gave it to you. He's like, I gave you the tape. I don't know, like, what you did with it. You released it because this is actually crazy. It's everywhere. So maybe you thought you deserved it. And she looks so confused because she's like, I didn't release the tape. And he's like, well, I didn't have an extra tape, so you definitely released it. I was just like, whoa, who released the tape? Who released the tape? And during that time, Lucy feels really alone because it's just like that tape she had anxiety for literally got released. So she goes to Alex's house. Alex is not fucking with her. Alex is like, that's the one thing you don't lie about. And no, for real, because why would you ever think telling your best friend you had sex with her man is worse than releasing this tape? Why would you ever think that? Like, you're done. Like, that impacts your whole future. And that's why I was saying releasing the tape compared to staying friends with Brie. Like, Brie would have gotten over that. I was not understanding where she was coming from with that. But yeah, Alex was not messing with her. And she was so sad. She was like, please, I'm alone right now. No, girl. You gotta go somewhere else. She gotta go somewhere else because Bree's in that room. And she's like, did you tell her I was here? No, girl. And that's when she's like, dang, I guess I can't really trust anyone. And he's like, yeah, you can only just give 70 to 80% to them because you really can't trust anyone. And it's so sad because that's probably what created Brie to be so nonchalant with Evan, because she's just like, I'm gonna just get someone who really likes me for real at this point, because y'all gonna lie anyways. And Lucy is so sad, so she goes to her room, hearing her phone blow up, things like that, and she just lays down. She's done for the day. So then it goes to the scene with Riley eating lunch by himself, and then Steven comes in trying to sit with him, and Riley's trying to leave. He's not trying to talk to him. But then Steven starts talking and was like how he was irritated because Lucy popped up to his Yale thing. And Wrigley was just like, yeah, I saw the tape. Like, she's really going through it right now. Like, maybe someone should check on her. And he's like, no. She deserves everything she's going through because she, like, made up some lies. And Wrigley was like, what lies? He was like, lies about me terrorizing her and things like that. And Wrigley was like, I don't know, she did seem terrorized. And Steven's not trying to hear that. He's like, okay. And Wrigley just gets up and just is like, I'll see you later. Did one last look. And I'm pretty sure Steven telling Wrigley about the Yale situation with Lucy is what gave him the idea to call the Yale reps, because that was so that was so funny to me, because I was like, I feel like once Wrigley pieced everything together of how terrible Steven was and how it was affecting the girls, he was like, oh no, Diana got to go to Yale. No, that is not cute. So I love that for him. Let's get back to Lucy. She's laying down, still sad. So then it goes to Brie finally going to her dorm, and Pippa's there. And Pippa's like, where have you been? I've been calling you and stuff like that. And she's like, I seen the video with Lucy and she's a liar and we shouldn't trust her and she's cold. Brie is just like so cold. Like, when I'm telling you, like, she's cold, she's like, we can't trust her. I was like, okay, Brie. But that's when Pippa finally decides to tell the truth. And she still throws Lucy under the bus while telling the truth. She's like, the essay happened with me and Chris, not Lucy. And she's like, in Lucy's crazy mind, she thought that what would help was her saying that it happened to her. I was like, Pippa, don't act like you were not going along with it this whole time until Lucy literally said something to Chris, because he was trying to, like, come at her. And I was just like, Pippa's still throwing her under the bus, still doing all this other stuff. And with this tape, she could have still said something. She could have still said something, spoke up, and Pippa didn't do shit. She's such a coward. I do not like that. At least Lucy has the balls and guts to actually do something. All Pippa would be like, oh, someone has to do something. Someone has to do something. You're not doing shit. You're not doing anything, actually. And Lucy's the one doing stuff. And you're just over here, like, judging her for doing all this other stuff that you're not even capable of doing. So Pippa was just irritating me. But then Bree is like shocked because she's like, oh, so this is why she did it. She wasn't just lying just to lie. And Bree feels so guilty. She feels so guilty. Y'all want to know why Bree feels so guilty? Because she exposes Lucy. She's the one that sends the tape. As soon as she realized all that stuff happened, she literally was like, yeah, this is what she deserves. And this is going to punish her really well. So Bree was happy with that until she realized the truth with Pippa. Bree just starts feeling super guilty about the whole situation. You can see it in her eyes because she's like, oh my goodness, we should do something. We should get the RA. And then they get the RA, get to Lucy's door, things like that. Lucy's just laying there. And the RA is like, girl, you gotta come with me to the dean's office. And and Lucy goes to the dean's office, and the dean is like, you cannot be at the school anymore. Like, you're done. And Lucy was like, yeah, I need to take a couple, like, days, months out. And Dean's like, no, you don't understand. You're not gonna be in the school. She's like, okay, well, I guess I get to like go, like I have the abroad thing, so that would be good for me, for me to still go. And she was like, the dean's like, that's still part of the university program. And I was like, that is so sad. She really, that's when it hit her that she's like done. Her mom had to go pick her up, all that stuff. Like she was hurt, and you can see in her face, like I was like, this is good acting. Like she was really hurt, like all this from the tape. And I was just like, yeah, if you would have just told Bree, I feel like this would have never happened, this tape situation, because this was really worse than telling Bree what you did, And then Lucy comes out and she's like, yeah, I'm expelled. And Bree's like, they can't do that. They can't do that. I'm like, Bree, what did you expect? What did you expect? You just posting stuff. And I know she was irrational because like she was hurt and stuff like that. But I'm like, girl, what did you expect? Like, this tape is lying about people's reputation. They're not playing around with that. So that's when Bree feels really bad. She tells her sorry, but Lucy don't know what that sorry is for yet. But then they're in the room. Bree and Pippa are hugging each other while Lucy's somewhere packing alone. When I tell y'all, these are very terrible friends. They really are. But Evan then pops up and Bree wants to be alone with Evan and talk to him. And Bree's like, I'm going to tell you something and you're going to tell me the truth. Or if you lie to me, we're never speaking again. And that's when he's like, yeah, I did have sex with Lucy. And she's like, well, Lucy's going through a lot right now, so we're just never going to tell her. And he's like, why are you like forgiving me? And yeah, Bree, why are you forgiving him? And what Bree says, oh, because you love me. Girl, you easily forgave Evan. You didn't release nothing. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing. But I guess the only thing she did was like cheat. Like, okay, she cheated. She cheated for months. Like, leading up to the wedding, she cheated. She didn't really hurt him in a physical sense. Like, she was trying to hide the really situation. She still married him. It wasn't like to prove a point. So the fact that she did that to Lucy, they're terrible friends to each other. How could you easily let Evan slide like that? And Lucy is expelled because you released that tape. Like, that's not even. That's not even at all. That's not even fair. That's not fair. And you don't even like him. The way Bree sighed when Evan was like, okay, so what about us? And she was like, she don't give a fuck about him. She don't give a fuck about him. She does not like that man. She just likes security. Honestly, she was over that man after all this stuff, and I would be too, because you're doing too much at this point. All this lying and stuff, doing too much. But this part, my favorite part, Steven's over here packing. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Ring. Gets a call from Yale, and Steven's like, "Yep, this is Steven." And they're like, "We're rescinding your offer." He's like, "Who's this?" He thinks people are playing around with him like he play around with people. This is not a joke. Your offer is rescinded. He's like, "On the cause of what?" And they're like, "Because you've been harassing people online, sending private images to people." And and he's like, "Who said that? Who did that?" And they're like, "We can't disclose that." And he is angry. He is yelling at the dean, or I don't know if that's the dean, but he is yelling. He's like, who did it? Who did it? Who did it? Who did it? Mind you, I already know who did it. I already know, because the only person who really got balls on this, the only person who really got the guts to do this, because it's the only person who really got the guts to do anything to stand up to Steven, right? And it was Wrigley. It cut to Wrigley. I said, Wrigley. I knew it was Wrigley, but when I seen Wrigley walking, pacing, I said, Wrigley, you ate that. Like, he did not deserve to go to Yale. After terrorizing all these people throughout the semester, you're done. You didn't deserve to, like, that was the best part. That was the best part. I loved it. I rewinded it so many times because the way he looked stressed and mad, and I was just like, this is what I needed. Like, I love that. So with Wrigley walking, he's walking to Bree's dorm, and Bree opens the door, lets Evan out, and you know, they have their little side conversations, like subliminal messages talking about like, oh, well, you were with Pippa the other night, so like, why do you care? Evan does not know what's going on. Evan leaves, Wrigley leaves, and Bree closes the door, starts tearing up. She runs to her drawer, grabs that tape, tries to rip it. Girl, what are you ripping the tape for? It's too late. It's too late. It's done. You ruined Lucy's life. You ruined Lucy's life, and you stayed with Evan because of what? Because he loves you. That was probably when I was like, Bree, you really got impacted by this friend group, because that was really dumb. But that's just me. Then Lucy packs her dorm. The only person who's really helping her pack is Diana, and it was so sweet. She's like, let me help you. She's there, she helps pack, because she's like, you're gonna be fine. I was like, this is so nice. Like, I'm glad she was there compared to her other friends, you know? The ones that she really tried to be there for. And then you see the car of Lucy leaving campus, drift away. Very sad. It then cuts to 2015, and Lucy and Bree are dancing. Cute. Lovely. And then it shows like Diana's taking a picture with Pippa and Wrigley, and it has like the Yale phone case. I'm like, ah! I was like, oh my goodness, my girl went to Yale. She got all the Yale items and stuff like that. I was like, she got her happy ending. I'm so happy for her. The only person who had a happy ending I feel like they deserved was Lucy and Wrigley and Diana. Those are the people who got their ending they deserved. Lucy, not a happy ending, but Lucy got the ending she deserved, right? That's all I had to say. So Lydia is arguing with Steven, saying like she's ready to go. All you trying to do is make your ex jealous, stuff like that. And Steven's like, girl, I only got with you to make Lucy jealous. Which just makes us see even more how much of a loser Steven is, because after these years you really are just still trying to get like revenge and everything. You're grown as fuck, and you're still just trying to get revenge after things that happened. Like, Lucy's life was ruined in college, and you didn't get to Yale, and you're still trying to ruin her life. Like, he has nothing going on for himself. It's actually really funny. Bree is with Lucy, and they see that whole interaction, and Bree's just like, I'm so happy that's not your life. And she's ready to go see her man. So Bree's like, let me go find my man. And she sits down, and that's when slimy Steven comes around and it's like, you know, I'm just so confused how you didn't have such a huge reaction to, you know, the tape. It just makes me believe that you knew the whole time that Lucy and Evan did sleep together. And during this conversation, Bree definitely did a lot of talking. And what I've noticed with Steven is the more you talk, the more he can figure it out. Like, you shouldn't even say too many words to him. He'll just figure that out. And that's what he does. Bree literally keeps talking, having the conversation, and talking about, like, you're disgusting, freaking Lucy expelled, all that stuff. And Steven's eyes glow and, like, you're the one who released the tape. And she literally starts stuttering. And Steven did not waste no time. He grabbed that mic. And when I tell you, this scene was so funny to me. And I rewinded the scene so many times because it was so funny to me. Because he literally reached everyone. Like, he did not skip anyone. He was just dropping bombs, saying like, well, me and Lucy slept together this morning. And Bree released the tape. So she's the one who actually ruined your life, Lucy. And my favorite, Bree and Wrigley have been sleeping for months. And Evan's just like, huh? And it's so funny. It's so funny because Evan literally starts chasing everyone. He starts chasing Bree first, and Bree's like, he's crazy. And then Pippa is trying to block Evan, and it's just like Evan's trying to reach everyone he can. Like, he's trying to go to Steven, he's trying to go to Wrigley. Bree, he's like, let me see your phone. And it's just so funny because then he falls in cake because it's just like, boy, sit down. She did not like you and you knew that. Like, so during this time, Bree's trying to talk to Lucy because Steven comes and is like, I only got a few minutes. You want to come with me? And Bree's like, do not go with this man. He does not like you. This is a game to him. And, you know, Lucy is just looking dazed and confused like she usually is. And it's like, I don't know. She's like, Bree's like, if you go, we're done being friends. Like, this is it. This is over. All that stuff. And Bree turns around, looks at her man, Wrigley. Wrigley is getting yelled at by Evan. Evan's short self, which is so funny because he's just looking down at him. And Evan has to, like, look up and scream like a short king he is. And really does not give a fuck. Like I said, I feel like this is what Wrigley wanted. And I'm pretty sure that's why he planted his phone next to Steven. He wanted this because when Steven was exposing everyone, he was like laughing. Like, he thought this was funny. He thought this was funny. So when Evan was yelling at Wrigley, he was just like smirking a little and looked at Bree, which was cute. And Bree was just smiling because I was like, oh, they're gonna be together. They're like, oh my goodness, we're free. I love that. I was just like, oh my gosh, they get their happy ending. I was so happy for that. Diana, again, is the smartest one and tells Pippa, let's go. Like, we're done with this. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed since 5 years ago. Let's go. Only smart one again. And Lucy, as you know, goes into the car of Steven. And she's like, before she goes in, she's like, why? Why do you want me to go? Like, girl, why are you questioning it? And Steven comes up with this lie, like he usually does, to convince her to sit in the car. And they drive and stuff. Steven's like, oh, I need gas. And Lucy's like, let me get some coffee for both of us. Let me get some coffee. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's a great idea. Lucy makes 2 cups of coffee, walks out, nowhere to be found. I knew he was gonna be gone. Nowhere to be found. Her bag is on the floor, and all she can do is laugh. And my thing with this is like, why did people think that Lucy was being smart in this situation? Like, people are saying, oh, Lucy knew he was going to do this. Lucy didn't know shit. Lucy was played again. Just like that same morning, Lucy had sex with Steven and Steven was with Lydia. Like, it's a game. So Lucy did not like change within a matter of hours from that morning where she was messing with Steven to grabbing coffee. Like, she really thought she was gonna be with that man. And that's why I said Lucy got the ending she deserved, because I don't know what you thought, like, anything was gonna change. Like, maybe this was what she needed. She needed to start fresh with having not those friends anymore, all that. So she just needs to be alone. Get some new friends, go to a different country, go abroad like you wanted to do all that. Because, like, this is a joke. Like, you're a joke. This is funny. This is laughable to me. And I think that's why she was laughing, because it's literally laughable. Why did you think this was going to be a thing? But yeah, that was the ending. I thought it was a good ending. I don't know. I thought it was a good ending. People didn't like the ending, but I loved it because I love that everyone got called out. Like, nothing was hidden. The only person who stayed safe was Wrigley and his and the knowledge that he didn't get into Yale, which would have been nice to see how Steven would have reacted if he knew it was Wrigley who made him not get into Yale. I thought that I think that would have been pretty funny. But the only thing is, like, there were still open questions that I had, like the Bree situation, like what happened with that? Like, so many things was happening. Like, what happened to Alex? Why wasn't Alex at the wedding? So many questions, but we gotta put the questions behind us because that was the last episode. But other than that, it's been great talking to y'all. If I find any movies and shows I want to like talk about, I'll be sure to do this again. But yeah, it's been a time. And yeah, that's it. If y'all liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later. Bye.